So, where do we go from here after North Korea's adamant stance on staying nuclear? Well, according to Professor Charles Armstrong at Colombia University, Washington should take a different type of negotiation from the past, with Pyongyang to gently inch closer to denuclearizing the regime. Our Hwang Sung sat down with him in New York.
Do you think the latest nuclear deal with Iran could provide an opportunity for North Korea to rethink about re-engaging with Washington?
Well, North Korea is the only one of these three left that Obama talked about at the beginning of his administration. He's opened up the door to Cuba. We now have a deal with Iran to halt its nuclear program. And it would be a fantastic opportunity for President Obama to leave as his legacy an improved relationship with North Korea. North Korea is far more advanced than Iran was, and it has stated repeatedly that it does not wish to and will not negotiate away its nuclear weapons. Now, that doesn't mean that the denuclearization of North Korea is impossible, but it will take a different kind of negotiation than has been done between Washington and Pyongyang in the past.
What crucial steps should both Washington and Pyongyang take?
One could imagine a deal in which both sides agree on the ultimate denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula as a long-term goal. But in the meantime, as negotiations are underway, that North Korea would freeze its nuclear program. I think we have to start with that point now. It's too late to go back to the older position of simply telling North Korea it has to give up its nuclear program right away. That's not going to happen.
There are reports of mid-ranking North Korean officials defecting because of Kim Jong-un's so-called fear politique. Is this a sign of instability?
It reminds me of his grandfather's purges in the late 1950s, which also terrified many of the people surrounding Kim Il-sung. And a lot of those went into exile, to China, to Russia, and so on. But this did not lead in the 1950s, as we know, to the collapse of the regime. So this, in fact, can be Kim Jong-un's way of consolidating his power. But it also has negative potential outcomes as well. So we'll have to see where this goes.
President Park Geun-hye has been pushing for the so-called trust-building process with North Korea. Do you think that maybe there's a need for a new approach?
I think that at this point, bold steps are necessary. I think we've been waiting a long time for a breakthrough. This hasn't happened. And perhaps it's time to do something more dramatic, to really reach out in a very significant way, and to have a summit meeting, to have a very high-level set of talks, and to really get the diplomacy between Pyongyang and Seoul back on track. It's been a very slow and difficult time for the last 5 years on the Korean Peninsula, so I think that perhaps a new approach is necessary. And hopefully the 70th anniversary of liberation will be that opportunity.
Thank you, Professor, for your time today.
Thank you.